I'm with Coach Dave Biller, and we are in week 2 of high school football. Still in non-conference play, but and I should say that you're getting ready to meet Trotwood Madison with a former Alter High School graduate as a coach.
Right.
Okay, let's recap the Alter game. Speaking of that, can you tell me about the deflected interception by Nathan Lambreth that led to the first touchdown? What made that play successful?
Well, number one, field position. We punted him inside the 10. That was big. It was probably the best thing we did all night. We I think slightly won the field position battle. We talk about that a lot, but forces them to have to, expend more plays, make them earn it type of thing. Colby Wallace made a really nice play. He's the one that deflected it. And Nathan did a nice job, as the ball was coming down, he ended up catching it. And we get the ball at midfield. Really huge. We can do that for our offense. That's usually a good result. So that was definitely timely. At that point, we're down 7-0, and it allowed us to even up the score there going into the half. So that was definitely a big play.
The third and fourth touchdowns appeared to be set up identically over the middle to Nolan Stringer. What did you see in the Alter defense that led to the long touchdowns?
Free safety was playing in our backfield, and when they do that, if they load the box, we have the ability to hurt you, if you try to do that to us. So it's patience and just, we saw that happen. And, people that don't understand, I talked to some of these kids I have in class, and I was explaining to them, based on what you saw, how many of you think, we should throw the ball more from, Thursday night? A bunch of them raised their hands. I'm like, do you know what a free safety is? No answer. Well, then you're not qualified to really answer that question. Do you know what the free safety's job is? Obviously, if you don't know what a free safety is, you're not going to know his job. His job is to make sure he stays back. Okay, well, he was playing in our backfield, literally by the end of the third quarter, so we knew we had some play action opportunities there. So that they become wide open like that because of what we do. So it's people don't understand that. If you're throwing it every play, they're not going to be up there like that. So we do that to set up the pass, and it was there. We did a nice job executing that. Line giving us time. JJ, both throws were right on the money, and Nolan just was that wide open, able to outrun the secondary there. So both huge plays, for sure.
After Alder tied it with less than 1 minute left, what was the thinking to be aggressive and not fall on the ball and take overtime?
We had not really been stopping them, so that was on me. I wanted to take a shot. We had been practicing that. I think in that situation, kind of the same idea, what I just said. They were back. So we thought we saw something early. It would have probably been more open earlier. The kid made a nice play, coming off the edge, and would I call that again? Probably not, but thinking at the time is we're going to go into overtime probably. We were struggling on defense, and that's something we got to really work on. That was really our worst defensive performance against them. Part of that's what they did, but I was not feeling great about our overtime, so I wanted to take a shot. Cam was kind of there. I think the safety might have picked him up, but it was worth trying. So. Maybe the way we did it doesn't really fit us necessarily, but I have no regrets whatsoever on that. The next play was going to be whatever. We're going to play for overtime and go into overtime, see what happens. But so I take that. That was on me, and the kids. They were on board with it, and it doesn't really matter. I make that call, and so hindsight's 20/20.
So let's break this down on both sides of the ball. Skylar Slifer,
Yeah.
even broke it down for me so I could say it right, and I still didn't. Right. Skylar Slifer dominated on defense with 16 total tackles. Your impressions of his game one?
I think he played really hard. Nobody wants to be, wants our team to be successful more than he does. He's one of our leaders, one of the guys that, our players put in their foxholes and trust. He's a 3-year starter, so I think the expectations he has for himself, and we have trust in him too. He'll be the first to tell you though. I think we've done some things as coaches. We talked about it. You know, we've done some things differently this year defensively that has not helped us be the defenses we have in the past. And that's been our point of emphasis this week, is getting back to Fairmont defense. You know, Slifer missed a couple tackles there, and you know, just I think overall, when we look at our and it's not him. I'm not picking on him by any means, because he was all over the place. But he's hard on himself. I know after the game he was upset with himself for a couple plays. So that's kind of why I'm bringing that up. He has no reason to be that way. He played really hard. But you know, we talk to our guys all the time about being in position to make plays, and you know, not just him. There weren't guys helping him. You know, our part of our MO is gang tackling. He had a lot of solos, you know, which good for him, but we need other guys there to help him, you know, and clean up those possible missed tackles and things like that. So we got to get better overall on that. But hey, he played his tail off, you know, so it kind of exemplifies what we harp on, which is just the effort and strain, and he did that for sure. So
Alter averaged 7 yards a rush. How problematic was that in the game, especially the first drive of the game when Owens had a 54-yard run?
I mean, I just said it. We have kind of sabotaged ourselves doing some things that we thought would be helpful. I mean, you never do things that you think are going to harm us, but looking at it, hindsight, again, it's 2020. You know, I think I wrote down when I was breaking down the film that night, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting there stewing over things, and I wrote down something's wrong. And it goes back to what we were stressing as coaches, you know. So we're going to get back to the way we do things, and I think we're going to be a lot better, you know, going forward, and I think the guys know that. You know, so we'll get better. That's the whole thing. We want to improve. Defense is, you know, I've played offense my whole life. I've coached offense my whole life, but defense wins championships. You know, and when you're not playing great defense, it kind of opens the door for a lot of things to go bad. So, you know, that's where we are right now. You know, it's problematic. I mean, we obviously we see it, and we have to address that. In the past, I'll go back to 2016. We have not given up that kind of yardage to them. Part of that's them. They're well coached. They have some good. I told you before, that's the best backfield as a whole we may see all year. So they were talented, but we didn't help ourselves. Let's put it that way.
Offensively, what more do you want to see out of the running game that did average about 5 yards a carry?
And we got to clean some things up. We're facing a serious challenge this week. I mean, these guys are good. You know, they're up front. It may be the best front we see all year. They've got several kids on their D line that have D1 offers. I mean, they're getting offers from like Purdue, Penn State, Ohio State. These are legit, you know. So, not saying the other ones aren't. You get a D1 offer, period, you're good. And they've got a bunch of guys that have them. So, but those guys are good. So we're gonna have a work cut out for us there. But, you know, I thought we did okay. We had a couple. We punted twice. We were off schedule both times, you know. So. One was a penalty, one was just a kind of a missed assignment. Again, I put that back on the coaches, not the players. You know, we kind of screwed up one of the schemes that we had talked about early in the week and didn't execute. So you get behind the chains with what we do, that makes it hard, you know. But you know, our kids played hard. I thought that we played hard. Period. I'm not. We evaluate things based on our goals and our kids, you know. One of the last goals is unbreakable, and they felt like, you know, we felt like we could win at any point in that game, and they played hard. It's just a lot of things we got to clean up, you know, with our process, honestly, how we do things during the week, and they identified that too, you know. So, you know, we're never satisfied, but I thought we had a decent offensive outing. You know, we didn't put ourselves in holes. We functioned pretty well. You know, you take away really 3 plays, and you know, we functioned pretty well on offense, I think. So.
All right, last question for you, Coach. What are your early impressions do you have with Trotwood coming off a big win over Cleveland Heights?
It's not the big win. I've been hearing about it all summer. You know, it's like you're looking at some serious talent over there, and well coached. I mean, you brought up Coach Graham. He's as good as it gets. His staff are phenomenal at putting those kids in positions to be successful. So it's going to be they're coming here, which is good. We don't have to travel up there, I guess. But what we're going to see is one of the best teams on our schedule. So our kids they recognize it, and I think are accept the challenge, to get better. I think that, again, we talk about outcomes, and the outcomes will take care of themselves. But it's an opportunity, to say the least. So.
All right, Coach. Well, I want to thank you again for taking the time to talk to me, and wish you good luck on Friday night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm with Jeff Graham, and he's the head coach of the Trotwood Madison Rams. I had to look there for a second. Caught me doing that, didn't you?
Hey, sometimes that happens, don't it?
So we got a couple questions here
Yes.
prior to your matchup with Fairmont.
Okay.
Last year, your team lost the opener 6-0 to Cleveland Heights, but last week it beat them 42-7. How do you account for the huge improvement?
I don't think it's a huge improvement. I just think our senior class this year really took the off season, and they really prepared. They started back in January lifting weights, and guys was dedicated. It was about 16 to 20 of those guys in there, and they went from January through the whole summer, getting bigger, faster, and stronger. And then we went into camp. They was really on our younger guys as far as working hard and buying into our system. And so I kind of give it the credit to them, because we as coaches, we only can go so far and do so much, but those seniors really came out and executed for us.
Let's preview your team a little bit. How about the offense? Quarterback, rushers, and receivers.
You need names?
Names would be good.
Okay, Dallas Sheehy is our starting quarterback. He's a returning starter. We have two new running backs. We have Terry Hurl and Callie Grant that's been in the backfield, that's sharing carries for us. We rotate a fullback. We got a tight end, Justin Taylor. Then we have two receivers, Armani Rogers, and we have Tristan Bozeman. On the offensive side, we have an exchange of plethora of defense and offensive linemen that go both ways for us. Jamarcus Weiss, we call him Fats. Then we got Yee Stroud. He plays guard for us. Chandler Moore is our center, flip guard as well. Then we have Jameer Weiss that helps out a little bit as far as tackle and defensive line for us. So we like that ability to be able to have offensive and defensive linemen to be able to go both ways on either side of the ball.
All right. So how experienced is your offensive line?
Now, that's a good question. We have two returning starters on there, but we kind of have the experience of the returning starters to be seniors. So they kind of take control of that offensive line as far as getting us where we need to be. We have two guys that just started playing offense. Rylan Dawson, he's there, and he's getting the experience that we're looking for. Because he's never played offensive line before. It's kind of hard to find them in our school guys that really don't want to buy into it. But, he's really taking it, and we're really working hard with him, trying to get him going and so he can have some playing time, both offensively and defensively.
Okay, on defense, who will be the impact players on the defensive line?
Okay, the three impact players on the defensive line is Jamarcus Weiss, what we talked about. We call him Fats. His younger brother is Jameer Weiss. We call him Juice. We got nicknames for everybody, so that's how I know him. We have Nash. He's a returning player for us. He's a junior on that defensive line. And then we have Tristan Nichols, and then we have Eli Appleberry which are senior guys that can rotate in on the offense and defensive side. They have a lot of energy. They worked hard all summer. They came in and they bought into our system, and that was the good thing. They came in and as transfers, so we're looking at them. At linebacker, we have Darius. That's linebacker. We have Tyler Carpenter and Zygo. He does a good job for us there. And on the back half, we have Ron C. and Darius Dennis. That's our free and strong safety that kind of keeps that back half in order.
Okay, so how about the linebackers in the secondary?
That's who. Okay, we
Let's
just talked
talk
about the
about
linebackers. Yep. We got a fluctuation of linebackers, which is good because they all can play multiple positions. So, like I said, we have Zygo there. We have Tyler Carpenter. We even have Andrew Thornton that rotates in. We can bring Darius Dennis down from safety to linebacker. He can participate in that for us too as well. And then we have Ron C. also can be interchangeable at safety to linebacker. So the good thing about it, when we teach the position, we kind of teach the position so you guys could be multifaceted at different positions. Because we're one play away from guys getting hurt, man. So we gotta have guys
be
back.
prepared.
We gotta be prepared. We don't have but 50 to 60 players, so we don't have 80 to 90 guys. We'll have a rotation of 2 to 3 different positions at one time. You know what I mean?
All right. So your impression of Fairmont, a different sort of team without Brock Baker, but with an effective passing attack.
Yes. Now I watched the game, the opener against Alter. Went out there and watched that. I noticed the size of the offensive line. The quarterback is nice and tall. They got 2 good running backs. Well, 3 good running backs, and they rotate the wings from the running backs to the fullback. And then the offensive line is very physical, and they stay low. They do cutoff blocks backside to perfection, right? So our guys, if you play high, you're going to get swiped out. And the tempo of how they come off the ball, it's that you have to be low, right? And if we not low and they're lower than us, they're going to get 5 to 6 yards a pop, right? And that's the strength of Dave's offense, right? You can try to change it, flip it, and do it everything you can, but it's you have to stop. You have to read your keys. You have to understand that when he puts in front of you as an offensive. As we make our decision of who's where, like tight end or wing, we have to make sure we declare that person because they can easily be eligible to go out for a pass. And that's how he got us here before. Last year, he got us on a good pass, and then they did a good job right before half. We made 2 mistakes on offense. We came out, we threw a pick 6 with like a minute to go in the game, right on our 20. He ran it in, then turned around. And we still trying to get some more yardage. Receiver caught the ball about the 40-45, caught it. So they're getting out of bounds. He turns in. As soon as he turns in, he get hit, fumble. They get the ball, kick the 48-yard field goal. So
that was the end of that one.
That was the end of that one. So, but that's great because that's what you were looking for. Other than that, we could have went in at 7-0 and had a good chance because we had the ball coming out the second half. The only thing we got to do is sustain the drive and get a stop here or there, whatever the case may be. But when you get a team like Dave where they ball control and he can control that ball on offense, you had his beck and call when you can't stop him.
Now, I'm trying to check my memory. Are you a graduate of Alter?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay,
Yes.
so you were probably watching that game with interest for both sides, I would think.
Well, no, I'm an alumni of Alter. I was watching it to be an alumni, and we know what the rivalry is at Fairmont. But, I had the good eye looking at what Fairmont was doing. So.
Did anything that Alter did or didn't do that changed the course of that game?
Well, I think Alter had a good game plan of attack. I know on defensive side they made some adjustments and they got beat downfield on some passes, and that's not typical of a wing T team. So that kind of struck me right there to make sure I pay attention to make sure our guys understand we cannot just leave or vacate our area because it can get exploded with them in the box to see that downfield. So we just got to read our keys.
Okay, Jeff, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me,
Appreciate it.
and hope to see you next year. But in the meantime, have a good luck on Friday.
Appreciate it. You coming to the game?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll see you at the game then.
All right.
All right, buddy.
All right.